right, we are back. This is Creativity is the Cure. I'm your host, Malcolm Moore, and today I have my good friend, John Mader. How are you doing today, John?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Malcolm.
Tell everybody where we are recording this interview at your new place.
We are at my new place in Atwater Village, which is in Los Angeles, and we've been here for a couple of months. We lost our home, unfortunately, in the Eaton Canyon fire, and we were in an apartment for about 10 months, and now we're here. We have a beautiful new home.
Absolutely agree. Completely beautiful. Before we get into this, let me just tell our listeners, and especially my students, who you are. First of all, I would call you a drummer, but also an educator. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
So here's a little background on John. John Mader is an American drummer who has performed and recorded with such successful acts as Pat Benatar, Steve Miller, Josh Groban, Bonnie Raitt, Booker T. Jones, Family Stone, Greg Allman, Joe Satriani, Patty Austin, Jeff Berlin, Bernie Worrell, and Billy Sheehan. He's also played drums on such hit musicals as Rent, Wicked, Mamma Mia, The Lion King, and Hamilton. Now, I've got to say, the way that we met, I think I remember this correctly. I was teaching in Hollywood at a grade school, and I had a student who was obsessed with Hamilton. And I called up our mutual friend, Andrés Forero, and I was like, hey, I know you're in New York and I'm out here, but I've got a student that would just really love to, he's going to go to the show. Can he maybe meet some people after the show? And he said, well, you need to call my friend John Mader, who's the drummer in that show. And so that's how we became friends. We went out for a great lunch together, and you helped a lot of my students over the years and really inspired them, because what would happen is the kids would go see the show and they'd meet you after, and maybe they can meet a musician or an actor, right? And then for me, it was exciting because I'm a drummer. You let me sit in the pit with you. That was crazy. Me being a drummer now, I've done, not at your level, but I've done a lot of musicals. And just, you were underground, right? And you're watching on a monitor.
Correct.
Right? That was wild. Not only was your drum set complex, but the score, and I could understand when you're playing and looking to your left at all the notes and looking at the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. We the drum set was the Hamilton drum set is pretty big. It doesn't really fit in the orchestra pits. So they would have me in a room directly under the stage, and I would have a AVM mixer, and
you're by yourself.
And I'm by myself, and I have a couple of video monitors depending on where I'm looking around the drum set at what point. I think I had actually maybe three monitors. 3 video monitors, because you have like several different stations. The Hamilton drum set has got 5 different snare drums. You're playing electronic drums also. So because of the size of the drum kit, at times you were not looking directly forward. You were completely pivoted all the way to the left or 90 degrees to the right, because you had something going on over there. And so you needed to have a video monitor in front of you. And I also had 2 or 3 music stands as well. So I had to have the music up on a particular stand in a particular station of the drum set, depending on what I was doing and where I was doing.
Let me just tell everybody, it looked like you were surrounded by a circle of drums, and maybe they had to lower you in with a crane. Right? There was barely enough room for me to sit there. I was like, whoa. I've got to ask you a nerdy question, though. So you're watching the conductor, you're following the score. Did you have a click? I can't remember. Were there sequenced parts that you were playing with as well?
Yeah, there were.
How'd you do that?
Yes. So Alex Lacamoire was the orchestrator, and he was really smart in developing the drum book. First of all, the drum book was phenomenal. Most everything was written out,
right?
And in a way that was very drummer centric or drum friendly or drummer aware. Many times you have orchestrators who write drum parts, and they're garbage. So it's their perception of what a drummer should play, but it's not the way a drummer.
But it might just say rock or jazz or have the hits of the horns, right?
That's even better.
Yeah.
If they just let you do what you do. So
Yeah.
oftentimes you have an orchestrator who is a non-drummer writing a specific drum part, and oftentimes that is so incredibly inaccurate the way that a drummer would approach it. It's very unnatural,
Right.
and it sounds that way.
Yeah.
Alex has this very unique ability if he writes for a drummer, a percussionist, a string section. It's the way it's supposed to be written.
Yeah.
And so it's.
And you're talking about notation.
I'm talking about notation. Right. So oftentimes these guys will write something for a string quartet, and the strings will have to get in there and rearrange the parts because it's just they can't. It's impossible to play, or it's just like the voicings are really unnatural given the particular instruments. And similarly with drums, you're playing something that is highly unnatural, but Alex he has the gift of being very specific, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
His deep knowledge base of each individual instrument makes it so much easier for the band to sound really good right away in a very natural, organic sort of way.
And I'm sure you've done this too. I've had a few musicals, like I would say the most challenging musical I ever played was Heathers. It was like playing Frank Zappa music for a musical, and it wasn't written out that well. And have you ever done this? I had to go to the recording, and I just kind of memorized that and then put that together with the music I had.
Sure.
Do a little research, right?
Absolutely. There's when I'm getting ready to do a show, I will do a lot of research. So in most situations, I will call from the cast recording, things that I hear in there that's not written in ink in the drum book. But I would also travel. I flew out to New York to sit in the pit with Andrés.
Yeah.
And audit.
By the way, Andrés, oh my God. I went to high school with him. What a phenomenal drummer.
Yeah.
Innovative.
Oh yeah. Just plays that book beautifully.
And is that how you met him? By flying out to just go over the score before you took over the California shows?
No, actually. We met prior to that. He was in San Francisco. He was on tour with a musical called Bring It On.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Lin-Manuel Miranda was involved in that show, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he had written some of the music from that.
Yeah.
I might be mistaken, but the music was really, really good. I almost turned it down because I'd seen the movie and I wasn't really a fan of the movie.
Right.
So, but my wife encouraged me to have an open mind. And so I ended up subbing for him for a month. He and his wife were having a baby.
Right.
And so he was taking some time off the show. And so I subbed for him in San Francisco, and that's how we first met.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, so I was saying that I would fly out to these gigs or to these performances and hear other drummers playing the show. So I had flown out to see Andrés, and at the time, I think at that time, I was still filming. So I would bring 3 cameras with me.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So I would put 2 cameras on either side of the drummer, and so I could see everything that they were doing. And then I would put a camera on the video monitor of the conductor.
Ooh.
And then I would take a mix off of the drummer's mixer.
Yeah.
And then I would copy the book that day as well.
Very thorough.
And so this is what I did for years.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes I would fly out on my own dime. And the reason why, there's a few reasons why. One is these books are so complicated that it really helps to see just how the drummers are playing these shows and making the transitions.
I love that you also film the conductor because everybody has a different style and you don't know what they're going to give you.
The conductors, there's so much nuance in how a conductor is performing a show.
Yeah.
So it is so incredibly helpful for me.
Yeah.
I would say that I'm not the fastest learner on the planet. And I just know how I absorb material.
Right.
And it's really important to know what works for you. So when I'm working with students, I'll bring out my book and I'll show them, and they'll see like I've got all sorts of notes written in the music, and a lot of it I use color because my mind just works really well.
That makes sense.
With color, if I'm on a recording session, for example, here I was just at Sunset Sound last week doing a recording session. Well, oftentimes these sessions you show up and they throw you the music and you count it off and you go.
Yeah.
Well, in the few minutes prior, I'll grab a colored marker and I'll mark in where the repeats are and the DSs.
Right. Just like, and for people that are non-drummers, just like someone that's getting ready for a speech, they might use a highlighter or something like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And all of that stuff just helps me relax a little bit. I know that I'm going to play the first or second time through. I know it's going to be accurate. Yeah. And a lot of that magic is in the first or second take anyway.
That's a great point.
And so I just want to be, I'd hate to ruin a first or second take by just making, a mistake like that. So, and it's just all of these things are also confidence builders as well, just to help you relax. I think for all of us as performers, I think that's the biggest thing is the mental game of it all.
Right.
It's just to be able to relax, and whatever helps you relax as far as your preparation techniques, then those things need to be a priority. And that's why I would fly out. I bought 3 cameras and I would fly out to these gigs and these performances and audit these guys playing the show. And because, especially in Los Angeles, we were talking about the last show that I did, which was Book of Mormon.
Right.
That's a really good example. So, Book of Mormon, they're traveling around, and with a traveling drummer, with a traveling band, and then when they come into town, Los Angeles is a pretty strong union town,
right? And
so they hire
local.
They hire
players.
Locally,
yeah.
And so, but what happens is as the tour progresses out on the road, the drum book evolves.
I bet.
So maybe the conductor wants something a little different. Maybe the dance captain wants the drummer to interpret something a little different.
Can I add something too?
Yes.
I remember when I first did Little Shop of Horrors, they not only wanted me to play all the drums and percussion, but some of the sound effects. Have you had to do that sometimes too? Like, part of the play.
So again, this is also, to your point, is a great example because I had to play loops, trigger clicks, and play African hand percussion and drum set.
Like an octopus.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, the drum part had substantially changed from what the ink was.
Right.
So I get the book, the drummer's playing many things very differently and incredible. I loved the guy who was out on the road touring. I forgive me, I forget his name right now, but he was just playing the show just beautifully. But what you don't want to do is make the mistake of the show comes to town, you're playing the ink, and everybody's looking at you like you're crazy. The conductor, the dance captain, everybody, because the book has evolved.
And they're used to it.
And that's what they've become accustomed to. And the last thing that I want to do is to be a distraction to the performers.
Yeah.
So I really want to play note for note.
Right.
What
So everybody's comfortable, just like you want to be comfortable.
Exactly. My job is to disappear.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I see it.
It's a great point.
So I would have to get the music, get the book, and start transcribing. There were 9-page transcriptions in that show where it was played so completely differently that I would just have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
And write out everything note for note.
Right.
So that takes about a week of long days, and then I have to start learning the material, which is another couple of weeks of, for me, about 8 to 10 hour practice days.
Yeah.
Because it's the parts, but then it's all of the transitions. So, for example, I'm playing a groove on drums, fine, but then I have to stop and I have to get over to the pad unit, trigger a certain pad. And
just so everybody knows, we're talking about electronic drums.
Yeah, yes, electronic pad unit. So you've got maybe 8 pads in one rectangle.
Right.
And so I would have to hit pad number 3 with my hand on the and of 2 of bar 34 and start playing African hand drums.
Yeah.
And then I have to stop the loop at bar 25 on the upbeat of 3.
And the African drums, you're going to need to get them near the mic.
Yes, exactly.
I'm already getting nervous just listening to this.
And then you have to jump over to the drum kit without losing
making noise,
without losing anything. It's got to be seamless. And you know how many rehearsals I have? 1.
Yeah.
The day of our first show,
right.
I have 1 run through.
Yeah.
And I have to have all of that nuance
right
completely under my fingernails.
Wow.
So that's what it's like.
I had one more question. So I'm only a little bit younger than you. We both grew up in an era where, as drummers, we dealt with drum machines or electronic drums that had latency or lag to them. And I remember like when the D-drum triggers came out, they were a little bit off. So if you're looking at a monitor of the conductor and you're downstairs, is there ever a lag issue? Because I know that even now when people are using Bluetooth with video, it's a little bit unsynced. Do you have to deal with any of that, or is the conductor on the screen right with you time-wise?
Everything is hardwired, so it's...
Oh, good. So there's no
latency.
Great. I can't imagine.
Oh, yeah, that would... Yeah.
You know what I mean? We grew up when we're trying to, like, quantize things and then make it sound human and then...
Yeah, no. Yeah, No, I couldn't handle that. I would be in a straitjacket after a week.
Before we get into some other stuff, I would like to go way back in time to a very young John Mader. Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Okay. What was your first creative memory?
What a great question. I started playing drums at 5, so I don't have a lot of, strong creativity recollections prior to that. I will tell you that sound, I was really enamored with sound, but also with feel. So when I was 5, I had gone to a talent show at my school, and a 3rd grader had gotten up and started playing the drums to a phonograph recording, and I just thought that was that was a moment for me.
Yeah,
and I just thought, okay, that's what I want to do. So I told my parents. So that for my next birthday, they got me a pair of sticks, and I discovered that the vinyl couch sounded so good. It just had this sound, and I might need to sample that for a recording.
Well, you're making me think of is that first Paul McCartney solo album. I know at least one of the tracks he was playing on the couch cushions, so you were onto something there.
Man, and there's like cheap vinyl and a drumstick, but just
real slap.
Just that's the slap and the feel of it. So I was ruining our crappy furniture. So I guess a month later, they bought me a practice pad, which is a piece of wood with a rubber slab on it.
Wait, so you did the show at school and you didn't even have your own drums yet?
I was watching somebody else.
Oh, you watched someone else.
I was a kindergartner,
yeah,
and then that was a third grader.
I got you. So then you got sticks, and then you got a pad.
Yeah, I got sticks and a pad. And so I played on the pad for about a day, but I went back to the couch because it just sounded and felt so much better.
What is this blasphemy?
But I
like the couch.
I think that was my first experience, though, with understanding like sound, but also touch and feel, and how important those were also.
Yeah. Right.
That's why.
And I remember back in the day, I don't know if kids still do this, but we would often say as drummers, well, if you can do all your rudiments on a pillow and it has no response, then you can, it's like going from the metal bat to the wood bat, right?
Yes.
You should be able to do all these rudiments without the give and the take of a real head or rubber.
Yes. And this conversation actually is making me think that there needs to be an electronic drum set that is made out of vinyl couch material.
No, someone's going to take your idea, John. You might have to edit that out. We'll see you at the NAMM show next year. Be doing the Dixon couch.
Fine Corinthian leather. That's the premier product.
Yeah, that's pioneer technology.
You get your vinyl?
You heard it here first.
Like a note, call my patent lawyer after this.
Yeah. So tell me about your parents. When you were growing up, were they creatively supportive of your dreams and aspirations? And also, what did they do for a living? Were they creative people? And do you ever feel yourself going, oh, I got that from my mom, or I got that from my dad?
Yeah. Let's see. Well, my real dad was very artistically inclined. He was a guitarist, and then never really knew him. My stepdad played trumpet and violin.
Wow!
And he was a semi-professional musician. Mm-hmm. And my mom was a big music lover, and they both drove for Yellow Cab Company in Oakland, which is how they met in Oakland, California. So
that is really interesting.
Yeah, that's pre-Uber for all you young kids.
I was trying not to say that. Wait, pre-Waymo too. This is when they were actually drivers in the vehicles.
There's probably people out there that's going, what's Uber?
Yeah, I've got to say, because these aren't everywhere in the country yet, but out here in LA, we have driverless cars. Then we have like Teslas that can drive themselves. Then we have what I call the robot baby carriages that deliver food, right? You see these little things that are blinking eyes. We've got drone policemen. It's kind of like being in a video game trying to drive here. Would you agree?
Yes. Yeah. We're living in the future out here.
Well, it sounds like your parents were pretty supportive, right?
Unbelievably so. So for the I guess for the following Christmas, they rented a drum set for me. And I remember it was Red Sparkle.
My first one was Red Sparkle too. What brand?
I believe it was a Ludwig.
Same. See, wow. I knew we were separated at birth.
There you go.
All right, but go on.
So they rented it from the local music store, and it was set up in the hallway, like right in front of the front door, the front hallway. And I remember it like yesterday. I just like went running over to it, and I was so excited, and I got behind it, and I really wanted to play something great, and I didn't know what to do because like I didn't work on the feet part, Yeah, yeah. And I was really comfortable. I could play the mess out of a vinyl couch. but I just wasn't used to all this other stuff.
It's a big transition.
It was a very big transition, yeah. But yeah, there was a music teacher that gave a beginning drum class at my elementary school at Jefferson Elementary School in Oakland. Yeah. And so, I started working on drum rolls and things like that. And
that's really cool.
We got started in private lessons, and later on I studied, I guess I was about 12 or 13. I started studying with Bill Nawrocki, who was from Chicago. He was teaching in Oakland. He taught myself, the great Will Kennedy.
Ooh.
And who else? The drummer for Count Basie, Gregg Field.
Okay.
He started playing with Count Basie when he was, I think, 17.
Wow.
And he went on and played for Ella and a bunch of other people.
Incredible.
Yeah, amazing. So yeah, all these guys had studied with Bill Nawrocki. He was really, really wonderful teacher.
Do you think creativity could be implemented in curing people, or at least helping people with mental health struggles like depression and anxiety? Any specific insight? Has being creative helped you?
That's a big question. Yes, absolutely. When you look at many artists throughout history, a great many of them have struggled with mental health issues. And I think that the expressiveness of art has really helped people in a very organic way. Certainly for me, absolutely it has. So just to be able to play a groove that sounds great, it feels great to play. I know that I could wake up on the wrong side of the bed and feel a little blue and go play some drums, and yeah, it helps. It really, really helps. I think there's a strong correlation between artistic creativity and mental health and higher learning, and we could go on and on. Also, in not just the creating of art, but the experiencing art. For me to go out and hear some wonderful players, it would just elevate my spirit.
Yeah.
And it can really pull me out of a funk. Going out and viewing some, like an art exhibit that's come through town.
Yeah.
That will really change my...
Well, your house that I'm in for the first time, there's so much beautiful art. It must be wonderful to wake up and see this explosion of color and texture. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was a kid, my dad started taking me out to concerts. It was my 13th birthday. So my dad picks me up. They were divorced at the time. My father came over to the house, picked me up, and he said, "I'm taking you somewhere for your birthday." And I said, "Oh, okay, great." And he said, "But it's a surprise." I said, "All right." So we're driving over to San Francisco from Oakland, and he tells me, he starts to let on a little bit. "I'm going to take you to see some music." And I said, "Oh, great. Awesome." And so, I'm thinking of like my favorite groups during that time, something contemporary.
Right.
And then he says, "I'm going to take you to see Woody Herman."
Whoa.
And Maynard Ferguson.
Oh, man.
And I thought, oh, great. My old fogey dad is taking me to some old fogey music for my 13th birthday. I'm going to be miserable.
Yeah.
And so we went, and it was the performance was over at the Palace of Fine Arts, and it was so good. I think actually it might have been Peter Erskine playing for Woody Herman.
I was going to ask who the drummer was.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
And I forget who was playing with Maynard, but it was spectacular. And you know, like at 13, you're just you're moody. I mean, for me, I was just moody kid, and I just couldn't believe how fantastic this music made me feel, being in the room, experiencing live music.
And all that improvisation.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, so good. So we started going every year. Maynard Ferguson would come through town.
Yeah.
We would go see him at the Great American Music Hall. Then we started to sing Count Basie also.
Wow, I wish I saw him.
Every year we'd go. And we started going to see Buddy Rich every year.
I was lucky enough to see him a few times.
Oh, man. I mean, my mouth would be sore at the end of the night because I was grinning the entire time.
Can I say this? You know, Buddy Rich, arguably the greatest drummer that ever lived, can play all this complex stuff, but still to this day, I'll never forget him doing a single stroke roll and starting slow. It was like a freight train. Yeah. It just like knocked me in the chest. Like he could do something simple.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, he was vaudeville, so he could just blow your mind.
Yeah. An incredible talent. And I was in high school and I'd got my driver's license. So I had gone to see him with some buddies of mine. Kicked my dad to the curb because I was an older teenager now.
Dad, come on.
Yeah, I couldn't be hanging out with my dad. But I went with my other drummer buddies.
Yeah.
And we went to see him play. And I don't know, it was after the concert, we came walking out, and I don't know why I thought of this, but I just started talking to the bus driver for the band. And we were just chatting, and I had a Buddy Rich album in my hand. And so I struck up a rapport with the bus driver, and he looked down and he saw the album, and he said, "Hey kid, stick around for a while." And so the band had come out. They got on the bus. Buddy came out and got on the bus, and then the bus driver just motioned for me to get on the bus. So I got on the bus. I was able to. He took me back to say hello to Buddy, and he signed my album, he was just lovely. Yeah. He was really, really lovely. And unfortunately, due to recent events, I no longer have that album. But I had it a long time, and it gave me a lot of joy every time.
Well, the memory of that
and
goes beyond.
My dad and I had seen Maynard Ferguson play the next time around. And there were these two brothers on stage, the drummer and the bass player. And it was Gregg Bissonette on drums.
I was going to ask about Gregg,
and his brother Matt. And from then on out, I was a huge Gregg Bissonette fan.
This is before David Lee Roth. Before Ringo.
That's right. That's right. Fresh out of college.
Yeah.
And he's just sounded wonderful, and I started reading about him in Modern Drummer magazine. And so, flash forward, I get this drum endorsement with Dixon drums.
Yeah,
and I was the first drummer to endorse that company, the first U.S. endorser, and I was out on the road with Billy Sheehan and Stu Hamm and Jeff Berlin doing like a bass player extravaganza thing that they each played a set, and I was the drummer in each set, and Jude Gold was the guitarist. And so a very challenging gig for me, and but I mentioned that because I had played with Billy Sheehan, and Billy Sheehan had also played in the David Lee Roth band. Right. And so I'm still living up in Northern California. Dixon approaches me and says, we just signed Gregg Bissonette. He's doing a clinic tour. We're coming through your area. Do you want to do maybe a clinic with Gregg at the store that you teach at?
Oh, wow.
And so for me, that was that was just incredible because
yeah.
I was just this little kid
Yeah.
checking him out
Yeah.
with Maynard, and to be doing a clinic with him, it was.
Who saw that coming?
Yeah, I certainly did not see that coming, and it was really wonderful, and I have a really nice relationship with Gregg today, and it's really grateful for that.
He's an amazing musician and a great guy.
Yes, he is.
Great interview too that he did with Rick Beato. If people haven't seen that. I would like to ask you, how did you survive losing your house in the fires? Because you had a beautiful creative house that you had spent years on, you were just telling me, and now you're kind of rebuilding that. So how did you get from loss to the rebuilding part where you're at now? I mean, this could be you and your wife collaborating, going, how are we going to get through this massive loss?
Yeah, okay. You really have great questions. So, creativeness comes in many, many forms. Resourcefulness.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is really where I channeled my creativity. My wife, where she channeled her creativity as well. For me, I had a recording session a week and a half after the fire.
And just so everybody knows, you at that point lived in Altadena, and now you're in Atwater Village, correct?
I'm in Atwater Village currently, yeah. And I realized that I needed to keep playing music, first of all. I needed music more than ever. So as difficult as it was going to be to get through the session, I needed to do it.
Right. For sanity's sake, right?
Absolutely. But in these recording sessions, there's a little bit of pressure. Again, like you're recording for a client, you're seeing the music for the first time. You have to be operating at a high level. But I thought that would help me just kind of get a little bit of a break from emotionally managing the trauma of the fire.
Right.
So I think that would be the first tool that I'm going for, is the ability to channel, the ability to hyper focus on something else.
Right.
And put the energy in that place. And really, I think that's a lot of what creativity is about. You hear great artists create their greatest pieces when they're in the lowest, worst point in their lives.
Yeah.
Many songwriters, when they're going through a major traumatic event, the advice is write. Yeah. And so I think for any artist to create when your life is in turmoil, for some reason that can give some energy to your art and really elevate it.
And it's healing too, right?
And that this may be like the crux of the whole thing right there, is the healing is being expressed in the art.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. So you were telling me, well, first of all, when I got to your house here where you currently live, it's absolutely beautiful. And we talked about how you and your wife are kind of creating a new environment together, because your last dwelling was really a passion project that he had spent years on. Yeah. So what is it like letting go of that beautiful creation and then collaborating with your wife on a new one? Is that also helping you overcome the trauma?
Oh, yeah. It's really the same thing that we were just discussing, right?
Yeah.
You are using your creativity in a very healing way.
Yeah.
In the creation of something new, you are healing yourself.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of artists live in that space.
Right.
We all discovered some sort of art form because we were emotionally going through a lot.
Yeah.
And that was our safe place.
Yeah. and I think you would understand this because you're an educator too. A lot of times since I've been in California, I've gone through a lot of challenges, and sometimes when everything was going wrong, I go into a school and I got to teach 30 kids something in a generation that has no attention span. So it's almost more like being an entertainer. That would heal me. And I'm sure, because you and I have both done one-on-one drum instruction, just trying to figure out, is this kid a visual learner, an audio learner, a kinetic learner? Just even that, putting 1,000% into reaching out to someone, that can be healing too, right? Or when you're performing for all these people.
Yeah. Interestingly so, in the same way for me, I could be in just a horrible mood, and after an afternoon of teaching, it's gone. Yeah. It's just gone. And I don't know if that's the art form or if it's giving back. It's all giving back, right? When you think about it,
And it's reciprocal.
Yeah, absolutely.
We give and we teach, but I often walk away feeling like I got even more than they did.
That's the best when it happens that way. Yeah. I love chatting with a student about their interests and diving into that.
Yeah.
And using that as a vehicle.
Do the same thing. You got to do that. You got to show them that you care.
Yeah. And I feel like that's where where the magic really starts to happen, where the teacher and the student are both on this journey together, and you're both learning together. Yeah. And so, like, let me show you my stuff, my influences, and give you a little bit of that, but I want to get some of your influence as well.
You got to do that, or they'll have no incentive, and they'll not have as much interest. I mean, a lot of times when I teach young kids today, they bring me songs that are obviously all either programmed or they have beat detective, and I don't shy away from that. I say, let's figure out how to play this manually. One of the best songs a kid brought me was a song called Pray by Kendrick Lamar on the Weekend. My God, the rhythm is so cool on there. It's obviously programmed, but when we figured out how to play it on a kit, it was the best.
Super creative.
It's a different generation, and because it's different than how we grew up, that doesn't mean it's any less valuable.
That's right.
I wanted to ask you, so looking back on drummers that inspired you, when I look back at my life, there's so many drummers who inspired me, but I think for me, the drummer that I still hear in my mind when I play is Bill Bruford. And that's for a lot of reasons. His improvisation, never played anything the same way twice, to the dismay of some people. And also, I remember going, I hear melodies when he's playing, not only when he got into the electronics, but I'm like, whoa, I hear a riff, I hear a song in his drumming. And when I did investigating, I heard that he was inspired by Max Roach, who was doing the same thing many years before. And you listen to a song like The Drum Also Waltzes. It's so beautiful and so melodic. Who's a drummer, just pick one, that you find when you do a gig and you're more into just what you want to do, you don't have to read the music. When you're just enjoying yourself, who do you hear an influence of coming out in your drumming?
Well, I play a bunch of different styles, and it just depends on the style. I definitely live in like a more of a groove-based space. Yeah. I always have.
And you're saying playing for the sake of the song and getting into the groove.
Yeah, there's something very magical about feel.
Yeah.
And I guess I first got that from getting into, I was just listening to KDIA. They played all R&B music, late 70s, early 80s. I started hanging out with a kid who lived in my neighborhood, and that's all he listened to, and he was a huge fan of that. And I started listening to early Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh man, the drumming.
Yeah, just phenomenal. Like, it's one of the bands that Buddy Rich loved.
Yeah.
Loved. He was a huge Earth, Wind, and Fire
Really?
fan.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. So
those guys were ferocious players.
Yeah, just incredible. But I would say overall, I'm a big Steve Jordan fan.
Oh man,
of course.
I got his drum set at home. I love the Club Custom.
Yeah, he's just magical. There was Will Kennedy was a big influence on me from a young age. My drum teacher, our drum teacher, Bill Nawrocki, had recommended me to take over for a band that he had been playing in, which was like a Bay Area all-star big band with dancers and a choir, and so I went and auditioned for this thing, and Will Kennedy was there watching the drummers audition. So he comes up to me and he says, "Hey man, you sound really great. I think you're the right person for this."
Wow.
And I said, "Wow, great." And now I didn't know Will Kennedy was like going to Laney College and wasn't going to have any time to do this band anymore. So they called me and said, "Yeah, we really like you, and we want you to come to our first gig and the next gig and watch Will play." And so I did that. I remember sitting next to him, and it was all like, big band, but then they had some big band funk arrangements, and I was just shocked how somebody could take a really simple beat and make it feel so good.
Yeah.
It was just like some kind of voodoo or something. That was the first time I really got a very up close, intimate view of and an education of feel.
Yeah.
And how you could play a very simple pattern and just have it just sound like magic.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my entry into like understanding the magic of just like simple and making these adjustments. And I feel like drummers like Will, of course, he can play many, many complex things, but he always sounds like him, and he can play 1 and 3 on the kick, 2 and 4 on the snare, and it's stunningly beautiful. And Steve Jordan comes from the same camp. I used to come home.
Love his drumming.
Yeah, I would just tune on Letterman.
Dude, me too.
Just to hear the opening.
Do you remember there was one time Phil Collins was on the show, and every time they went to the commercial, it was Steve and Phil doing double drumming?
I have not seen that.
Oh my God, I got to find it. It's so beautiful. So that's how I heard of him first. And then I got this album, Steve Kahn Eyewitness. Oh my God, you got to hear this. This is before Steve was really known for anything from Rolling Stones to and John Mayer. And so he can play that complex, odd meter stuff. But when I saw him with John Mayer years ago, they gave him a drum solo, and it was the deepest groove. He didn't play any crazy shit. It wasn't all over the place, but the whole audience was like, that's the magic you're talking about. That's the voodoo.
That is the magic, man. That's the voodoo. So yeah, all of that. And then I listened to a lot of James Brown.
Oh man, you can't go wrong with that.
Like my first favorite bands when I was 5, I had 3 favorite songs. It was James Brown, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag.
Yeah.
It was Ray Charles, Hit the Road Jack. And it was Susie Q by Creedence. Mm-hmm. And
3 very different songs.
Yeah. And what a lot of people don't know is that I auditioned for Ray, and when I was 26, 27.
Wow. What was that like?
Got the gig, then gotten a little verbal altercation with Ray, was released from the gig. And I played with I toured with Maceo and Wee Ellis.
Oh man.
And Fred Wesley from James Brown's band.
That's a band there.
Did 2 records with Pee Wee. and then I toured with. I got to tour with John Fogerty.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Wow. I wanted to ask you, in the 80s, I was lucky enough to see The Who, and it was Simon Phillips on drums. Oh, my God. But I looked up, and you opened up for The Who. I think you were with an artist named Ryan Downe.
Yeah.
Right? And at that point, was it Zach playing with The Who?
Yes, it was.
Before you tell me what the experience was like, opening up for a band that big, I'm sure it was a huge concert. What did you learn by watching them from the side of the stage that you maybe still bring with you? Is it harder to play, or at least different to play to a big audience compared to like the baked potato, like a small club?
So yeah, in many ways, I really didn't have any experience playing in these big venues that we were playing, and some of the songs I was playing to tracks.
Yeah,
and I just had to get acclimated to playing these big venues and to not think of them as big venues. Really, I needed to think of them as just like I'm playing drums in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And I'm a kid again, just playing for fun.
I've never played anything on that level, but I've heard that, when you do a very big venue, you kind of have to simplify your drums a little bit to make it work. Is that true?
Yeah, sure. Just because of the acoustics.
Yeah, that must be very different.
Less notes. Tends to be more impactful.
Yeah.
The more notes you play, it just kind of gets lost in the natural reverb in the room.
Yeah. People sitting way in the back.
Yeah. The same thing with John Fogerty. I'd been playing Hamilton, and I work with this guitar player, Carl Verheyen. I've been playing in his band for about 11 years now. He's a guitar player from Supertramp. Yeah. And he's done many other things. Really wonderful player. And I was playing with him at a club down here in Los Angeles. And a friend of the band had asked me to come by her table and meet a friend of hers, and between sets. And so I did. And my friend Leslie introduced me to this woman, Julie Fogerty. Mm. And of course, the last name resonated with me immediately, of course. So she said, I really love your playing. I hope you don't mind. I took some video to play for my husband. Kenny Aronoff is our regular drummer, but he's got some schedule conflicts coming up. And so we're looking for somebody to fill in.
Yeah.
And I said, you can take all the video you want. And so a couple days later, I'm over at their house. I'm over at John and Julie's house.
Just like that.
In his studio. And we're playing some of the old Creedence tunes.
Wow.
And I got goosebumps immediately because the first concert I saw was at the Oakland Coliseum with my two older sisters. It was Booker T opening, and it was Creedence.
Wow.
And here I am in John's home studio.
Yeah.
Playing Born on the Bayou. Man,
You're like the luckiest boy in the world.
It was nuts, but it was also that thing of, I remember I had done some other big auditions before and didn't get the gig.
Yeah.
And made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
In just my mental approach.
Right.
And so I just kept on telling myself, you are just going over to play and have fun.
Yeah, you were ready for it.
Having fun.
Yeah.
And we're just going to relax, play some tunes. And if it's meant to be, it's going to happen.
Right.
Like there's nothing, you can't force these things. It's like if you're single and you're going out on a date, there's either going to be chemistry or there's not going to be chemistry. Right. There's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Right.
In fact, the more you try, the more you're going to get in your own way, which I advise my students all the time, is that there is such a thing as trying too hard.
Yeah.
There's such a thing as caring too much. Like, you got to relax and just let it do its thing. Really, so much of this creative process and going through life in general, as I'm learning, is letting go, which might
be who you really are.
Yeah.
When I did research on you, is it correct that you did music for some of the Sims video games?
Yes.
How did that occur?
Yeah, this bass player friend of mine had recommended me, and who had some sort of connection. I think he played on a couple of these, and they called me to do one, and then they started calling me to do a lot of them, and it was really wonderful.
When you do music for a video game, is it any different than just going into any other recording session?
Yes, because particularly, I'll give you one example. It was the Sims, I think it was Sims Hot Date.
Okay.
They end up going to various clubs.
I see where this is going.
And so, like, they go to like a supper club, and there's like some like big band swing stuff going on. And then they go to like a rock club, and you switch gears and you're playing some rock tunes. They go to a reggae club.
Yeah.
And so you're playing some reggae, and then they go to like a hip hop club, and you're playing some hip hop.
Oh, fun for you, because you know all those genres.
Yeah, really great. And so I would bring a bunch of different snare drums and a bunch of different cymbals, and just switch gears, try to switch gears mentally and get in the right space of playing the right thing, which actually all that teaching experience and, playing in wedding bands and things like that.
Yeah.
I was the drum nerd. So, in like for a wedding band, if, for example, if we were playing an AC/DC tune, I transcribed that tune for my students, and I would teach it all the time. So all of Phil Rudd's fills and all of that, I would play all the right stuff.
You got to do it. It doesn't sound right.
Charlie Watts for the Rolling Stones. I'd play all the Charlie Watts drum fills, man, note for note. Like, I just knew all of that stuff, and as well as the Earth, Wind, and Fire, and whatever. I would just be a student of each individual song.
Yeah.
Because I just felt like this is the one thing I can control.
Right.
I can't really control who's going to call me for a gig, what's going to happen. But for the gig that I have right now, I can become a very impactful student of whatever it is I need to learn.
Yeah.
So I was, one of the first guys to have an Akai S900 sampler. Like, I just wanted to make everything sound as good as possible, be it the sound quality, or how I'm playing the song or whatever.
It's got to feel right.
Got to make it feel right. So you just bring all of that experience to these sessions. And so to be able to flip on a dime and go, oh, okay, for example, there's a tune where, like, I want a cymbal, like a hi-hat sound that is different than I'm getting out of a standard pair of hi-hats.
Right.
And I would remember, Steve Jordan would talk about using like a couple crash cymbals for hi-hats. Mm-hmm. And so then I got to the point where I was using ride cymbals. I put two 20-inch ride cymbals, man.
I've experimented, but that's wild.
Oh, it's absolute magic. You put two 20-inch ride cymbals on a hi-hat stand. The spring is struggling to lift up that top
cymbal. It's like a Godzilla drum set. Must be like a...
Yeah, man, that's it. Man, it is so fantastic.
Wow.
But just to think outside of the box like that, to get a different vibe,
Yeah.
Steve Jordan,
Man.
So that's how I would approach
video games.
A video game thing.
Yeah, you kind of have to bring all your toys with you because you don't know what you'll need.
Yep.
I found an interview you did quite a while ago, and you brought up a Steve Gadd quote, and I wanted to know why you like this. So one time Steve said, the key to success is to realize the responsibility of playing the music well and to do so by simply making an honest effort. Why do you like that quote?
Oh, such a great quote, man. That's a perfect one. It's everything that we were just discussing.
Yeah.
And asking yourself, how can I make this gig better with what I can do?
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask the right questions, you're gonna get the answers, you know. And I loved that because when I started applying that, that's when things started happening. So it's hey, if we're doing this tune by this artist, then maybe I should get the sounds that this artist used on the record.
He did it for a reason.
Yeah. So I was making, for example, I did like a top 40. I was working in a music store.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really, really afraid to try music full time.
Right.
And I just couldn't, get up the courage to quit my job.
Yeah.
And then my father had passed away. And that was a very reflective time for me. And I just thought, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? I'll go out and get another job, man. You know, I'm going to die at some point. Like I need to do something with my life.
Yeah. You don't want to regret it when you're older.
Yeah. So I just pushed myself. And the next day I got 2 teaching jobs at 2 different stores. So the next day after quitting my job, I got 2 teaching jobs at 2 different stores. And I went in and sat in at a club, and they called me the next day, asked me if I wanted to become their drummer, and it was a 6-night-a-week gig. So
that's a way to pay your dues.
I was thinking, why? How come I didn't do this before?
What am I doing here?
The very next day, it was incredible. So I'm doing this top 40 gig, and I'm thinking, all right, well, we're doing all these. We're doing Janet Jackson songs, we're doing cameo songs, where the very specific production sounds and the drums. And I thought, man, what can I do to make this like great?
Yeah.
And I thought, they just started coming out with samplers. Akai S900 just had a new sampler. It had 8 inputs. It was the drummer's sampler. And I started going to this franchise called Radio Shack and started building my own pickups.
Wow, you built your own.
Just built my own.
Kind of like Terry Bozzio when he invented his own electronic drums. Yeah,
I just started, they had all the parts. It was inexpensive.
Really cool. So you had triggers on your acoustic drums?
So I had triggers on my acoustic drums, and I built my own little multi-pad unit that had spring-loaded pads on there.
You're like a mad professor.
Yeah, I'm a little crazy. But it was great because we would go into a Janet Jackson tune or a cameo tune or something, and it would start with the drum groove. The dance floor would be packed because they heard those sounds and they knew what song it was.
Yeah, makes them want to dance.
Yeah, so I had like a rack of gear, and I had the drum set, and I had big old 18-inch EV 3-way speaker monitor. I was just committed to the product.
What year? What year was this around? Like what decade?
1930. Let's see. Must have been. It was the 80s.
Yeah. So I'm asking that because you're way ahead of your time. I mean, back then we had people like Donnie Wynn or Phil Collins, Bill Bruford making hybrid drum sets, but you're actually building yours.
Yeah.
You're like making Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah. I just wanted it to be great. And so
you did it out of necessity.
Yeah. From just showing up on those top 40 club gigs, then I started playing in very popular bands around town, and my electronic thing evolved. And so then I was like doing a little bit of sequencing of drum parts. Anything that I try to play everything, I come up with these crazy patterns of way to play the whole part, like percussion and drums. And I do that today now. Like I travel with Carl and I play congas on the left side and I play drums at the same time. And I've got...
That's kind of like Jay Bellerose was doing with Paula Cole. I remember he had like a djembe on one side and then a drum kit on the other side.
Yeah, man, it's pretty magical. And I play I hit the drums with tambourines sometimes.
I saw that in one of your videos this morning. That's really cool.
Yeah, I play.
On your snare drum, you had a cymbal.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll play. Whatever I need to do to get the sound that I'm hearing in my head. Sometimes if I'm playing a ride cymbal, I'll have a maraca in my hand at the same time, because it just creates a different sort of vibe. And all of that came from way back then, doing
playing on the couch.
Well, maybe not so far back then, but I'm gonna have a mounted. I'm gonna have like the Dixon vinyl couch.
Yeah.
The John Mader Artisan Dixon vinyl couch. I'm liking it. I'm getting a lot of ideas. This has been a great interview. Thanks for stopping by.
All right. Well, listen, our last quote is from this guy you may have heard of named Andrés Forero. Mm-hmm. He once said, well, one of the great things about doing a Broadway show is that most of the shows are at night, so it leaves a lot of your day open. Although some people think I'm just working 3 hours a night. But those 3 hours are so demanding, so physically brutal, that I would say I would more equate it to 7 hours. So the next day, it is important to rest a little bit, but it also gives us an opportunity to teach and work and do other projects. That's the gift of working in theater.
Yeah, he pretty much nailed it right there. So my wife and I were having I call it fight. She calls it a discussion. And
I'm going to stay far away of that one.
So what I was presenting to her was my side, which is, so you think that I go and do a show for 3 hours, so I should be able to, work 5 or 6 hours during the day doing other stuff. And she said, yeah, pretty much. And I said, okay. So Michael Phelps has got an Olympic swim heat.
Okay.
This is the example I presented to her. Michael Phelps won many gold medals for all you young people out there. So I said, so let's say I'm Michael Phelps and and you're married to me, and I've got an Olympic swim heat at 6 o'clock in the evening. Mm-hmm. So you're thinking, I'm saying to my wife, you're thinking that, all right, so that Olympic swim heat, you're warming up, doing a couple laps. The swim heat is only a couple of minutes long. I mean, you should be able to crank out an 8-hour day doing everything else. And then
jumping in the pool.
And just jump in the pool and, swing on by the Olympic swim heat on the way home. And then, make dinner for the kids.
Yeah.
And she says, well, no. And I said, exactly.
Yeah.
Not really understanding. She gets it now.
Yeah.
Not really understanding the amount of energy you're putting out there.
In preparation, obviously.
And the preparation and how exact it's got to be. I mean, it's just got to be surgically precise. There's just very, very, very little room for error.
And then you got to come down from that. Anybody that's a performer.
You have to come up for it, get ready for it, and then you got to come down for it afterwards. And all of that takes time.
Yeah.
And taking care of your body and your mind, and yeah. That's my experience.
That's a great answer. All right, so before we go, I'd like to know, how can I help you? Like, if people want to follow what you're up to and where you're playing, what is it, Instagram, Facebook? Where are you most visible these days?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. I'm around. John Mader. You can find me easily.
There's a lot of cool videos I saw on YouTube, like showing how you did the Hamilton show.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
What do you have coming up? Performance-wise or recording-wise? Or
somebody give me a gig, man. Let's see. What have I got coming up here? Just gigs around town with Carl, and we'll be in Europe in the summer as well. And we're working on a new record. It sounds awesome.
Where are you guys recording?
We've been recording a lot at Sunset Sound.
Ooh,
and
that's a great place.
Yeah, so many platinum-selling records have been made there. It's awesome, an honor to work there. So that's what's going on right now.
And are you still doing private drum instruction?
You know, I did it a long time, and I had a lot of students up in Northern California, and I'd come down to Southern California to do Hamilton, and that was 8 years ago. And I have a few students now. I'm scattered around the globe, and that's really fun. But yeah, I think I'm ready to start giving back a little bit more at this stage. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Anybody interested, you can certainly find me.
They can reach out to you via email or social media.
Yeah. John Mader Drummer at Gmail. That's a good way to reach me, or you can reach me Messenger or whatever.
Did you want to give a shout out to any of your companies like Dixon that you work with?
Hey, that's a good idea, huh? Yes.
Who are the companies that you endorse?
I endorse Dixon Drums. I'm currently playing their Artisan Series Rosewood model. They only made 15. So get out there if you want one. They're really great. They make really beautiful drums, and I'm playing them. Gregg Bissonette's playing them out on the tour with Ringo Starr, and several other really wonderful drummers are endorsing these drums. They're really wonderful, and I also endorse Vic Firth drumsticks, and I also endorse Sabian Cymbals. They make amazing cymbals.
What do you use for drum heads?
I use kind of a cross between the Remo and the Evans. And depending on what drums they are,
right.
These Rosewood drums are a little bit, they're deep and throaty, kind of like the old Yamaha recording series. This is a really dense wood, and so the tone is really focused. So to get them to open up a little bit more, I've been using just coated ambassadors, and they
can't go wrong with that standard.
Yeah, they're amazing. And then the snare drums, it just depends on the snare.
What about electronics? Are you more Yamaha, Roland, or what are your favorite devices to play?
Yeah, I'd been using the Roland products for quite some time, and they also make some good triggers. I've been using some of their triggers. And,
are you talking about like V drums or SPD? Like what?
The SPDs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The V drums are amazing. They've got some new products out now that are just mind blowing.
Especially working with DW now. I just interviewed Mike Sutton, and they have that new kit. Oh my God.
I haven't checked it out yet. Yeah, it's really great, huh? Yeah. Chad Wackerman was telling me about them. He said they were really phenomenal.
Very innovative, and to put those two companies together is pretty brilliant. You hear that, Mike?
I might have to go shopping.
All right, John, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me. And as with all my favorite people, there's so many other questions I have. So could we do this again in the near future?
Yeah, what are you doing this weekend? Malcolm, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me, and I hope the audience gets something out of this. Yeah,
man. Thanks again.
Cheers.
All right.
I'm a little crazy.